First of all, I want to thank all you superwomen for being here and for supporting NOW. And I want to tell you how important it has been in my own life and how important it is legislatively. So I want to share a story with you very briefly about NOW, about you. In 1992, on the day that the Supreme Court rolled back the Casey decision, rolling back one of those pillars for Roe v. Wade, a group of women went, and I was a city council member then, we went to the steps of City Hall and protested. And I decided the only way I could really stop Bush 1 is to run for office and try to reverse his policies, not only on reproductive rights, but on economic policies and in so many other ways. So that day, I announced for Congress. And everybody said, how in the world can she win? She's running against one of the most powerful Republicans. He's chairman of the Appropriations Committee. He's tremendously wealthy. And although I had been a leader for many years on the City Council for women's rights and really led many of the efforts on the City Council level, no one would endorse me because no one thought I could win. So my first lesson to you today is never, ever let anyone tell you you can't do something when you feel you have a goal that's right. The only organization in the women's movement that supported me was you, NOW. And Marsha Pappas, who is head of New York State now, I want to recognize her and thank her for all her work. I'm so glad you're honoring her today as a leader of great vision. Because we have a vision to endorse my candidacy and come down and have a rally for Carolyn Maloney, and every other editorial was, how can this girl win? And NOW was there to help me, and I wish I could build a building for NOW. But I did fly a flag over the Capitol for NOW. Glorious, wonderful President Kim Gandy. But first I'm going to tell you a living story on NOW and how important you are and how important your membership is to this organization. Through the past number of years, there have been many efforts to roll back choice. I have a choice scorecard on my website that shows there have been 179 votes that passed the House of Representatives. And there have been efforts to roll back Title IX and EEOC, the Office of Economic Opportunity. So when these votes come up, I call Kim, and I call Ellie Smith, and I tell them what's about to happen on the floor. And they send out alerts to you, and you call your Congress members, and you are responsible for having killed a lot of bad legislation. Gotten a lot of honors, but have you ever had a flag float over the Capitol for you? That's something. You're a great president, and thank her for her many, many years. And Patricia, come on up here. Come on up here. Woo! I want to talk about what an extraordinary year it's been. Hillary Clinton almost won. And I feel it's truly one of the most important advancements for women. When I was the age of these young leaders that are going to lead us into the 21st century, I never believed I'd ever go to Congress or that a woman would ever seriously be mentioned and considered a president. So I think her run was historic and glorious and wonderful. 18 million people voted for Hillary Clinton. She raised over $190 million. But also I think part of the story, a contrast, is the misogyny that existed and is tolerated in our country, where you had major networks talk about her castrating presence, talk about her as with the B word. They even, if you go to the internet, there are sites, literally, Media Matters and others, where they have some of the grossest things I have ever seen seen said by anyone, especially someone of the stature of a United States Senator and a person who almost became President of the United States of America. And I feel this is something that we have to do. We have to speak out against it. There is a tremendous contrast about what she achieved and the undertone that was there. And we are sensitive to racist comments. We speak out. We attack it. But sexist comments, people didn't say a word. No, what national leader, what head of the DNC or the DCCC or all of these important people, how many of them stood up and said this is unfair and wrong and stop it?
None.
And do something about it. In fact, I think a book should be written about it.
Oh, how about
And
that?
guess what? One has already been written called Rumors of Our Progress Are Greatly Exaggerated. Why women's lives are not getting any easier, and what we can do individually to make a difference. And I want to mention that Ms. Magazine has written an article about it in this month's edition about the book, and I thank you, Ellie, for doing it. And I want to urge you to support Ms. Magazine. With our dollars, we should support organizations and periodicals and TV stations and products that help and support the advancement of women, because they are supporting us and our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. So in honor of now, I wrote a letter to Augusta. Because I couldn't get over the fact that if Hillary became president, she still, and was the leader of the free world and the most powerful nation in the world, she could not be a member of the Augusta Golf Club. So I wrote their new president and asked them, hey, wake up, we're in the 21st century, you almost have a woman president, when are you going to change your rules and make them fair and more equal to women in our society? Asked to talk about, man, I could really go to a role on domestic issues and what G.W. Bush has done to us. He likes to have these press conferences and talks about what he's achieved. Well, let me tell you what he has really done to roll back the rights for women internationally, the topic of this particular panel. Guess what the first action of G.W. Bush was when he was elected president? The first executive order. Of all the things you could do to help people, to help children, to help education, the environment, what does he do? But he installs the gag rule that says that an NGO internationally cannot receive any federal funds if they even mention the option of an abortion in a country where it is legal. Let me tell you, that action would be unconstitutional in our own country. And it is unconscionable that he imposed it on some of the world's poorest women, denying them of options in health care. It is outrageous and it is wrong. And building on that record, he has something. It only gets worse. Building on that record, he has repeatedly denied funding to the United Nations Population Fund. Our great country helped found UNFPA. And 149 countries contribute to UNFPA. 149 countries cannot be wrong. The United States alone does not fund UNFPA, even though it has been funded by Congress and the House and in the Senate. It goes to his desk and he vetoes it, even though it probably does more to save the lives of poor women than any other program in the world. It's estimated that 700 women a minute die in childbirth around the world. That's the equivalent to a Boeing 747 crashing, which would be frontline news, yet no one knows about this. Yet throughout my book, and I talk about it in UNFPA, the way that an individual, a woman, or a group of women have made a difference. And in this case, 2 women founded an organization called 34 Million to raise the money for UNFPA that the government refuses to give them.